Welcome to the Explainer, everyone. Today, we are going to completely flip the way you look at English verbs. Let's be honest, memorizing a list of 16 grammar rules usually feels pretty dry, right? Overwhelming even. Well, we're taking that list and transforming it into a dynamic, highly logical toolkit that is going to give you flawless writing. I want you to think of verbs not just as simple action words, but as the actual dials and levers you pull to control time, alter reality, and define relationships within your sentences. By the time we're done here, you won't just be remembering rules. You're going to be engineering absolutely perfect sentences. Let's dive in.
So, here's our game plan for today. We'll kick things off with time travel and the tenses. After that, we'll get into modifying reality using modals and conditionals. Then, we'll tackle prepositions, followed by causatives. And to wrap the whole shebang up, we'll go over some advanced phrasing and hacks.
All right, let's jump straight into part 1. Time travel. We're mastering the present, past, and future tenses. I really love thinking of verb tenses as the literal dials on a time machine. You can actually see how the verb transforms to pin down exact, precise moments in your storytelling. Take Rule 1, the present indefinite. The formula is simply your subject plus a base verb, or V1. So, he goes to school, or the sun rises in the east. It's a universal truth, a regular habit. But if you just tweak that dial to Rule 2, the present continuous, the formula shifts to am, is, or are plus a VING verb. Suddenly, the action is happening right this very second. She is reading now. Then we've got Rule 3, the present perfect. That's has or have plus V3. The action itself is done, but it's still anchored right here to the present. I have finished my work. And finally, you can just leap right into the future with Rule 7, the future indefinite. That's simply will plus V1. She will help you. It's amazing, isn't it? Just by changing the core formula, you completely shift the temporal reality of the entire sentence.
Okay, let's rewind and head into the past. I want you to picture an action movie where two explosive things happen in the past. How do we know which one went down first? Well, that is exactly what the past perfect is built for. Saying I had completed the task uses the past perfect, that's Rule 6, because it is the earlier of the two past events. Point 2 on our timeline is before he arrived, which uses Rule 4, the past indefinite. The logic here is incredibly strict, but so satisfying. The past perfect literally has to happen before the past indefinite. It perfectly sets up the sequence of events so your leader never gets lost.
And to completely round out our core time-traveling verb formulas, we have Rule 5, the past continuous. The formula you need here is was or were plus that VIing form again. Check out the example from our source material. They were playing football. We use this to express an ongoing continuous action that is firmly anchored in the past. Think of it as the continuous background action in your story while other, more sudden things happen around it.
Now, before we officially leave the concept of time behind, we absolutely have to talk about Rule 12, since versus for. Guys, this is such a common trap, but the crucial takeaway is actually super simple. Since anchors us to a very specific starting point in time. I want you to think of it as a single dot on a calendar. For, on the other hand, measures a period of time, the duration, the actual length of the line. Truly grasping this subtle difference is a total game changer. It instantly clarifies your timelines for anyone reading your work.
Moving right along to Section 2, modifying reality with modals and conditionals. This is all about expressing what could or maybe should be. So, we are stepping away from strict, hard facts now and getting a bit more flexible. Let's look at Rule 8, modal verbs. We're talking about words like can, could, shall, should, may, and might. These guys act as reality modifiers. They take a standard, simple action and spin it into a possibility or a strict necessity. But listen up, because here is the single most important mechanical rule you need to remember from the source text. A modal verb must always, and I mean strictly always, be paired with a base verb, a V1. You can see it clearly in the examples. He can swim. You should study. You would never say can swimming or should studied. It is always, always modal plus V1. That's a totally non-negotiable formula. And that perfectly tees us up for what I like to call the conditional multiverse, Rule 11. Conditionals are essentially your grammatical what-if scenarios. Notice how simply shifting the tense completely changes the reality you're describing? Type 1 is a real, actual possibility. If plus a present tense verb followed by will plus V1. Type 2 is a hypothetical or highly unlikely present situation, if plus a past tense verb followed by would plus V1. And then there's type 3, which is the impossible, completely unchangeable past, if plus had plus V3 followed by would have plus V3.
Master these 3 distinct formulas, and you literally master the ability to navigate alternate realities in your communication. It's incredibly powerful. All right, section 3, prepositions in infinite actions. We are navigating the word to and other prepositions. Okay, grab a pen because this is a massive hack that will save you from making countless frustrating grammar mistakes. Rule 9 clearly states that after the word to, you must use the base V1 form of the verb. The source example nails it. I want to go. In grammar terms, this is known as the infinitive. But check out Rule 10 right next to it. If you are using literally any other preposition, words like of, for, in, about, or with, you are forced to use the VING gerund form of the verb. She is fond of reading. You'd never say fond of read. The rule of thumb? To always gets V1, and everything else gets VING. It is a wildly reliable system once you get the hang of it. Next up, section 4, causatives, letting and making. This is all about what happens when one subject causes another one to act. Let's actually gamify Rule 13 a bit. I want you to view this as a foolproof step-by-step cheat code. When you use the causative verbs let, make, or help, you just follow this exact 3-step sequence. Step 1, drop in your causative verb. Step 2, add the object, so the specific person or thing being affected. And step 3, this is the absolutely crucial bit. You must follow it up with a base V1 verb. Let the object do V1. Make the object do V1. Help the object do V1. For instance, it's make him leave, right? Not make him leaving. Following this precise formula ensures that your causatives are mathematically and grammatically perfect every single time. And finally, section 5, advanced phrasing and hacks. This is where we elevate your writing from basic to advanced. These last few rules are absolute pro tips designed to polish your writing. First up, Rule 14 covers how to express past habits that simply don't happen anymore. The formula is easy, used to plus V1, just like our source notes. I used to play cricket. It's simple, it's elegant, a little nostalgic. But then we hit Rule 16, which I find fascinating. This one's about expressing a preference using the phrase would rather. Now, if it's just about you, you stick to V1. I would rather stay. But, and this is a really high-level nuance, if you introduce a brand new subject into that preference, the formula actually shifts to the past tense, V2. I would rather you stayed. Throwing a new subject into the mix forces the verb into V2. That is a fantastic advanced nuance to have in your back pocket. And that brings us right to Rule 15, which I want to highlight using this incredible quote from our source material. It is high time you studied seriously. You can feel the dramatic energy there, right? This highly unique phrase, it is high time, is used to express absolute urgency, the feeling that something should have already been done yesterday. But look closely at the underlying formula. It is high time plus subject plus V2. Even though we are aggressively demanding action right now in the present, the grammatical structure ironically and strictly requires the past tense verb, V2. You studied, not you study. It creates this brilliant, undeniable sense of delayed urgency. So look what we just did. We took what looks like a rigid, boring list of 16 rules, and we transformed it into 5 distinct, powerful toolkits governing time, reality, mechanics, and advanced style. Which leads me directly to my final thought for you, leveraging that very last rule we talked about. Isn't it high time you applied these rules to your own writing? You've got the formulas now, you've got the step-by-step cheat codes, now it's entirely up to you to get out there and engineer some flawless sentences. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep learning.